I told you, Stephanie White. I said, hey, you need to go zone to stop that Alicia Gray nonsense, and look what happened. Look what happened, man. Oh, my goodness. Hey, we turned the Atlanta Dream into the Atlanta Comas. I told you that zone to work. Hey, man, you know I stay in Atlanta. We all about the zones, repping zones out here. I know about the zones. Come on now, I told you. Hey, you got to get...
I told you from the opening bell that Stephanie White had to switch into that suffocating zone defense to stop Alicia Gray from completely tearing through our perimeter defense. When you step into this high-stakes arena, you cannot let an elite scorer walk into the paint without meeting heavy resistance at the rim. We turned the Atlanta Dream into absolute comas because that tactical adjustment choked out their entire offensive momentum. Atlanta is my territory, and out here we understand exactly how to lock down passing lanes and shut down open driving corridors when the championship pressure hits maximum intensity.
Caitlin Clark, how many points did you have? Hold on, I'm not even gonna play around, man. I'm not even gonna play around. 26 points. 26 points with 9 assists and 3 rebounds. Had 5 TOs, but I ain't caring about that. We came with the win, man. We came out with the dub. And then let me tell you this. Kelsey Mitchell, another 20 points. Another 20 points. You cooking like that? Now, you were going a little crazy with some of those attempts. But that was a great nail in the coffin layup you made at the end of the game in OT. Shout out to you. Oh, my goodness. Aaliyah Boston, 18 points. Once again, some crazy shots you were putting up.
Look at the absolute clinic Caitlin Clark put on when she stepped right into the pocket and started trading heavy offensive blows against an aggressive Atlanta defense. She refused to back down an inch while dropping a massive 26 points alongside 9 surgical assists that completely ripped through the opponent's primary coverage. Nobody cares about the 5 turnovers, because when you are throwing knockout strikes all night long, you are going to take some risks. She walked out of that hostile environment with the victory firmly in her hands, while operating at an undeniable MVP caliber level.
Get into it, y'all. Hit the like, hit the hype, hit the notification bell so y'all know when I drop it, hit the sub button. I highly appreciate it. And let's get it, all right? As you can see already, man, now you know. Caitlin Clark putting up MVP numbers. Of course, she won't get that nod, though. She won't get that nod. And then look at my other backcourt member. 19 straight games with 20-plus points. Shout out to Kelsey Mitchell, man. Absolutely cooking. We cooking, baby. We cooking. Come on, man. Stop playing. And then KK with the tongue out. She was out there doing her dance. She was she was jugging. All right, okay. Look at her, man. 95-91. As y'all can see, man, Kelsey Mitchell with the game-sealing lay. Let me make sure y'all can see this. I mean, that's just beautiful.
Kelsey Mitchell came out firing with pure bad intentions, dropping another 20 points on the scoreboard and proving once again that she is one of the most lethal closers in this league. She took some absolutely wild attempts early in the fight, but when the closing seconds arrived, she landed that decisive nail-in-the-coffin layup to put Atlanta to sleep. That was cold-blooded execution under extreme physical pressure right at the rim. She absorbed the contact, maintained her balance through the collision, and finished the sequence to guarantee Indiana walked away with the ultimate victory.
Then look at Aaliyah Boston getting big. Alley-oop lay, gets it to KK, and KK just drops it in. Just drops it in, man. Look at this team moving the ball around. Now, in the early parts of the game, they were stagnant, man. I'm like, yo, y'all got to move this ball around. Let's get some good looks. Once again, they hurt my heart with Sophie and Lexi Hole. But KK did pick up the buckets. And then also the bench production. We need more bench production, dog. We need more bench production. Stephanie White, hey, pick up on Kelsey Mitchell getting killed out there. Come on now. Pick up on it earlier. You had Alicia Gray just going to work on her. Jackie Young going to work on her. You stop letting Kelsey Mitchell get beat on out here.
Aaliyah Boston showed up in the trenches and delivered an absolute war inside the painted area by chipping in 18 massive points against relentless interior pressure. She was putting up some crazy floating shots through traffic, but she stayed completely locked in whenever the team needed a critical bucket to stall Atlanta's furious momentum. When you go toe-to-toe with elite rebounders, you have to establish immediate physical dominance. Boston fought through every contested box out, absorbed brutal physical contact under the rim, and gave Indiana the interior backbone necessary to survive this high-octane slugfest.
And everybody, she found me. She found me and I'm at home. All right, I'm like, yo, I know you in Atlanta, but how did the ball get here? I was like, dang, what the? Had the refs calling me and stuff, the commissioner calling me. I'm like, dang, man. Out here not knowing what the W is for in WNBA. Why you on my phone? I gotta stop. All right, I gotta chill. Hey, Great game, though, man. Let's look at another highlight. Caitlin, look at this, getting downhill, stepping through with the curse of lay. Come on, dog. Caitlin not playing around out here with these women. Look at this. Getting downhill once again. Stops her dribble, finds Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah Boston made Okot jump out of shoes and socks and then makes the bucket. Now, Aaliyah Boston was taking these type of shots, but she was missing a good amount of them. Those floaters where she was getting...
Hit the like button, ring the notification bell, and subscribe immediately because we are breaking down absolute championship greatness that the mainstream narrative keeps trying to downplay. Caitlin Clark is delivering historic MVP numbers night after night, yet they still hesitate to give her the ultimate crown she deserves on the national stage. Alongside her in the backcourt, Kelsey Mitchell is casually riding a streak of 19 consecutive games with 20 or more points. That is pure elite striking consistency that completely dismantles opposing defensive schemes whenever the game is on the line.
Level score. She done became the three level scorer. I ain't say the 3 level scorer that people need to pay attention to. Kelsey Mitchell knocking down a shot right here. Visine work, Ryan Howard, and they were snatching back, man. Snatching back. I said it in the live. I said, man, y'all know how parents be snatching up bad kids like this? No, I'm sorry. No, don't do me like that. That's what Kelsey and Caitlin was doing out there, man. Absolutely shaking and baking. Look at this. Straight in your eyeballs. Oh, my goodness, man. She did Sherrod so nasty. Did Pow Pow so nasty. Look, the last name of Pow Pow stands for pow pow for those ankles. All right, they were popping left and right. Pow pow. I'm like, dang. Caitlin. Oh my goodness, people go to jail for what Caitlin did to the Atlanta Dream out here. My goodness. Kelsey Mitchell, once again, Visine work. Visine work. Alicia Gray, like, I need more medicine in my goggles. I need more medicine. I can't see. Bang. Let me help you out. Look, at the half, they were down 4. I was like, oh man, it's gonna be one of those games. Look at this, leaving Pow Pow in the dust. She's just coughing on smoke. Look at her. Oh my goodness, she got a grab. She's turned into Omarion. Touch. I hear grabbing. Look at this. I gotta hold her waist, grab her jersey. I can't stop her. Oh my.
KK Arnold was out on the hardwood playing with supreme swagger, sticking her tongue out and hitting her dance after finishing high-pressure buckets in transition. She was cutting through the defense with sheer velocity and bringing an injection of pure electric energy that Atlanta simply could not contain. Seeing a young player perform with that level of fearless arrogance changes the entire psychological warfare of the matchup. She did not hesitate for a single second, embracing the chaos of the moment and proving she belongs among the most dangerous guards on the floor.
This is just goated, dog. I mean, I don't know what's going on. She gets people out of that paint. She gets people out of that paint, man. She's too strong or something. I mean, dang. But scoring-wise, yeah, AB is getting a bucket almost every time on Angel Reese, period. Now, Kelsey Mitchell, 20 points for Kelsey Mitchell. 9 for 22 from the field, 2 for 4 from the 3. Probably the only one that shot really well from the 3 in this game. 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 TO, and 1 steal for Kelsey Mitchell. Like I stated, she put the nail in the coffin with that leg. Great job. Lexi Hull. We have to figure out how to get Lexi Hull involved, man. This is what I've been talking about. All right, let me say it once again, because hopefully Stephanie White get a hold of this video. One of the players get a hold of this video, and they say, man, we got to listen to Izzy about this, man. When we're stagnant, Lexi Hull, I mean, I think she can really help with the 3 ball. She was 0 for 2, I understand, but shoot or shoot. Sometimes you start off slow and then you get hot. Kelsey Mitchell, she didn't start off hot. She started off cold and then turned up a little bit, right? So when we're stagnant, we have to find ways to get Lexi the ball, get her some good looks. And then, of course, Sophie Cunningham, 2 shots from the 3-point line. Speaking of Lexi, she took 3 attempts in the first quarter. That was it. Nothing else. Speaking of Sophie, when it comes to the 3 ball, she took 1 3 out of 3 quarters. And then in the 4th quarter, nothing. I mean, one last one.
Look at the final scoreboard showing a 95-91 thriller that pushed both rosters straight to the brink of physical exhaustion. Kelsey Mitchell sealed the fate of the Atlanta Dream with a game-winning layup that was pure art executed in the heat of heavy warfare. When the defense collapsed entirely on the perimeter to stop the outside shot, Mitchell exploited the open lane and finished right through the outstretched arms of the rim protectors. That was the definitive dagger that broke Atlanta's spirit and secured an unforgettable regular season triumph.
25 and 74. At the beginning, they were not taking care of that free throw line. Take care of the free throw line, man. Take care of that free throw line, all right? You have to. But other than that, they didn't shoot that well from the 3-point line. That was hurting as well. We only scored off 18 assists. They usually average around 23, 24, so the ball wasn't moving as well at the beginning, but it did at the end. We took care of the ball very well. 9 turnovers. That's all we had in this one. The average is about 12 to 13, so yeah, great job tonight with that. We got 8 steals, 6 blocks, 10 O boards. We were cooking everywhere else, but we needed to handle Allisha Gray going to work on this. The double team should have came earlier. The zone should have came way earlier, but it is what it is. She dropped 32 on her heads. Ryan Howard had 17. Angel with 15 points. Okai with 8. Look, this is who we should have had. Okai, 8 points, 3 for 4 from the field, 7 boards, 1 assist, 1 TO, 1 steal, 2 blocks. This is why I said we should have drafted. I'm not going to let it go, y'all. I don't even know how Borlace was killing us like that. 10 points, I don't even know what was going on. They shot 35, 25, and 96. Main thing they were doing was taking care of the free throw line. 26 attempts, which is crazy work, by the way. Well, we had 23. All right. But 26 attempts, and they shot 96 from the free throw line. You take care of the free throw line, it take care of you, all right, in these close games. But y'all let me know how y'all felt about the game.
Watch Aaliyah Boston utilize her massive frame down low, securing the basketball and immediately delivering a pinpoint bounce pass directly into the cutting hands of KK Arnold for the easy bucket. The ball movement down the stretch was breathtaking compared to the painfully stagnant offense we suffered through during the opening quarters. Early on, everyone was just standing around and forcing contested isolation looks that produced nothing but empty possessions. When this squad actually pushes the pace and makes the extra pass, their offensive ceiling becomes terrifying for any opponent across the league. My heart aches every single time I see elite perimeter shooters like Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull completely frozen out of the offensive rotation for long stretches. Luckily, KK Arnold picked up the scoring slack by aggressively attacking open gaps and generating high-percentage looks near the basket. However, our bench production remains a glaring vulnerability that must be addressed immediately before postseason combat begins. You cannot survive a deep championship run when your second unit fails to provide a reliable offensive punch, while the starters battle through heavy fatigue against elite defenses. Stephanie White has to wake up and notice how severely Kelsey Mitchell was getting targeted on the defensive end during standard man-to-man assignments. Allisha Gray was relentlessly backing Mitchell down into the deep post, using her superior size and strength advantage to create effortless scoring opportunities at the rim. You cannot leave your primary offensive weapon out on an isolated island to take that kind of physical beating possession after possession. The coaching staff must recognize those glaring physical mismatches earlier and provide immediate weak side help before the opponent takes full control. Caitlin Clark was out there making passes so absurdly accurate and wild that it felt like the basketball was flying straight into my living room through the screen. She operates with a level of court vision that completely baffles opposing defenders, making officials and opposing coaches look utterly lost trying to track her movements. This woman plays the game with zero fear, orchestrating high-speed transitions and manipulating coverage like a master tactician. When you have a generational playmaker dictating the tempo, every single possession becomes an explosive highlight waiting to detonate in the face of the defense. Look at Caitlin getting downhill with ferocious speed, hitting defenders with a vicious step-through maneuver that left the front line looking frozen in cement. She is not playing games with these defenders. She is actively hunting weaknesses and exploiting every microsecond of hesitation. When the defense finally collapsed in absolute panic, she smoothly killed her dribble and dumped a beautiful dime right into the waiting hands of Aaliyah Boston. Boston made her defender jump straight out of her sneakers with a nasty pump fake before softly floating the ball through the net. Caitlin Clark has officially evolved into an unstoppable 3-level scoring assassin that opposing defensive coordinators have zero structural answers for right now. Kelsey Mitchell followed suit, knocking down cold-blooded jumpers from the perimeter with pure clarity while defenders were left hopelessly reaching for air. What Clark and Mitchell did to the Atlanta backcourt was the equivalent of snatching up undisciplined fighters who forgot how to keep their hands up. They were shaking and baking through full-court pressure, creating separation at will, and drilling heavily contested perimeter shots straight into the eyes of their opponents. Caitlin did the perimeter defenders absolutely filthy, leaving them with popping ankles and coughing on smoke as she blew past them in transition. People should be facing legal charges for the sheer basketball brutality Clark inflicted on the Atlanta Dream throughout this entire showdown. She manipulated the screen, hit a lightning-fast crossover, and left her defender desperately grabbing at her jersey just to prevent an uncontested layup at the rim. That is what true offensive dominance looks like, when an elite guard completely strips away the dignity and confidence of her primary defender. Kelsey Mitchell kept the offensive assault going, punishing Alicia Gray repeatedly until the defense looked completely blind and disoriented out on the perimeter. Indiana found themselves trailing by 4 points at halftime, and it looked like the game was spiraling away into another frustrating defeat. But Mitchell stepped up, accelerated into the driving lane, and left Atlanta's perimeter defenders choking on dust while trying to grab her waist in desperation. When Mitchell finds that extra gear in transition, there is nobody in this league fast enough to stay in front of her. Aaliyah Boston proved without a shadow of a doubt that she is a certified powerhouse who completely clears opponents out of the paint through pure strength and willpower. Whenever she matched up directly against Angel Reese down low, Boston consistently found ways to muscle through the contact and finish high percentage looks right at the cup. She established impenetrable post position, sealed off the baseline, and neutralized Atlanta's rebounding aggression. When Boston controls the painted area with that level of physical dominance, Indiana transforms into a completely different tier of championship contender. Kelsey Mitchell finished the night with 20 massive points on 9 of 22 shooting from the field, knocking down 2 crucial triples along the way. She was virtually the only player on the roster who found any consistent rhythm from beyond the three-point arc during this gritty, low-efficiency perimeter battle. Beyond the scoring numbers, she contributed a rebound, an assist, and a steal while delivering the game-clinching layup through heavy traffic. That is veteran leadership at its absolute finest, stepping up to take the toughest shots when the entire game hangs in the balance. We desperately need to figure out a reliable way to get Lexi Hull involved in the half-court offense when our primary ball handlers get swarmed. I am praying that Stephanie White hears this loud and clear, because Hull's perimeter marksmanship can single-handedly rescue this team during painful offensive droughts. She went 0 for 2 from distance in limited minutes, but real shooters must be allowed to shoot through cold stretches until they catch absolute fire. You cannot expect a specialist to stay sharp when she only gets 3 rushed shot attempts in the first quarter. The exact same tactical mismanagement happened with Sophie Cunningham, who was completely marginalized and only managed to launch 1 single three-pointer across the first 3 quarters. In the fourth quarter, the coaching staff completely ignored her on the perimeter, refusing to run a single designed action to create space for her outside stroke. Shooters are rhythm players who desperately need consistent touches to find their range and establish confidence against aggressive closeouts. Running every single possession through 2 players inevitably exhausts your stars and allows the opposing defense to pack the paint without fear. Indiana struggled terribly from the free throw line early in this contest, and that lack of discipline nearly cost them the entire game against an aggressive opponent. When you step up to the charity stripe in tight fourth-quarter battles, you must knock down those free points with ice in your veins. We also struggled severely from three-point land, hitting only 25% of our attempts while struggling to generate clean perimeter looks. If you fail to convert your free throws and outside jumpers, you leave the door wide open for an opponent to steal the victory. The ball movement was undeniably sluggish throughout the first half, resulting in only 18 total team assists compared to our standard average of 24 per game. However, Indiana made up for that passing deficit by taking pristine care of the basketball and committing only 9 total turnovers against a ferocious defense. Atlanta normally forces 13 or more turnovers a night with their aggressive full-court traps and aggressive perimeter deflections. Winning the turnover battle under intense pressure proved to be the ultimate saving grace that kept Indiana alive during Atlanta's most explosive scoring runs. Defensively, the Fever laid everything on the line, racking up 8 massive steals, 6 violent rejections, and 10 crucial offensive rebounds to control the tempo. We were cooking in the transition battle and flying around to contest shots, but we still struggled immensely to contain Alicia Gray's scoring explosion. The coaching staff should have deployed the double team and implemented the zone defense way earlier in the matchup before Gray racked up 32 points. When an elite scorer gets that hot, you cannot wait until the fourth quarter to finally adjust your defensive coverage. Alicia Gray dropped 32 points right on our heads, while Ryan Howard contributed 17 points and Angel Reese chipped in 15 hard-fought points down low. Atlanta also received 8 solid points and 7 rebounds from their rookie forward, who shot an efficient 3 for 4 from the field. That is the exact type of versatile forward Indiana should have targeted in the draft to bolster our interior depth and rim protection. Missing out on that kind of two-way interior presence still stings whenever you see her making high-impact plays against our front line. Atlanta was punishing us with unexpected contributions, including 10 points from Nia Coffey that kept Indiana on the ropes during critical momentum swings. Atlanta shot an incredible 96% from the free throw line on 26 total attempts, which kept them within striking distance throughout the entire evening. Taking care of your business at the charity stripe is the single most reliable way to stay competitive during hostile road battles. Indiana survived on 23 free throw attempts of their own, but Atlanta's near-flawless execution at the line made this contest a nerve-wracking war of attrition until the final buzzer. When you step into an arena against a desperate opponent fighting for postseason survival, you have to match their physical intensity from the opening tip. Indiana looked completely overwhelmed during the first 10 minutes as Atlanta crashed the glass and attacked the rim with ruthless aggression. But true contenders reveal their character when their backs are against the wall and the momentum seems completely lost. The Fever dug their cleats into the hardwood, matched Atlanta's brutal physical contact, and proved they possessed the championship grit necessary to withstand heavy offensive barrages. Stephanie White's decision to switch into that packed-in zone defense during the fourth quarter was the absolute turning point that altered the outcome of this war. Suddenly, Alicia Gray had nowhere to drive. The passing lanes were completely sealed by long arms, and Atlanta's offensive rhythm vanished into thin air. That single tactical adjustment took away Atlanta's primary scoring engine and forced their perimeter players into taking hurried, low-percentage contested jumpers. That is the exact kind of high-level defensive coaching mastery that separates first-round exits from legitimate championship contenders when everything is on the line. Caitlin Clark's ability to orchestrate the offense under relentless full-court pressure proves why she is already the most dangerous floor general in the game today. Atlanta threw double teams at her, sent physical trappers to hound her at half-court, and contested every single passing lane with maximum effort. Despite all that targeted defensive chaos, she calmly dished out 9 magnificent assists while repeatedly creating wide-open looks for her cutting teammates. That level of poise and lightning-quick processing speed under extreme duress is something you simply cannot teach to young guards entering this physical league. Kelsey Mitchell's relentless scoring output across 19 consecutive matchups is a historical milestone that demands far more national respect and media appreciation than it currently receives. She is not just scoring in garbage time. She is carrying the offensive load against the fiercest perimeter lockdown defenders this sport has to offer. Every single night, she faces aggressive physical coverage designed specifically to tire her out. Yet she continues to produce 20-point masterclasses with unwavering consistency. Having a fearless, battle-tested scoring assassin like Mitchell alongside Clark creates an impossible dilemma for any defensive coordinator trying to slow Indiana down. The emergence of KK Arnold as a fearless third scoring option completely revolutionizes the tactical blueprint and ceiling for this entire Indiana franchise moving forward. Opposing defenses can no longer afford to aggressively double-team Clark and Mitchell on the perimeter without paying a devastating price inside the painted area. Arnold's explosive cutting, high-flying finishes, and ferocious defensive rebounding inject a dynamic weapon that keeps defenses permanently off balance. When your young role players step into the spotlight and execute with that level of fearless confidence, your entire squad becomes virtually impossible to eliminate in a playoff series. This hard-fought 95-91 victory was a statement to the entire league that the Indiana Fever are battle-tested and ready for postseason warfare. We overcame sluggish ball movement, survived a 32-point masterclass from Alicia Gray, and executed the necessary defensive adjustments when the outcome hung in the balance. The chemistry between Clark, Mitchell, and Boston is reaching a terrifying peak right as the playoffs approach on the calendar. Drop your thoughts down in the comments below, let me know how you felt about that thrilling finish, and keep believing in this incredible championship journey.